Welcome back to Theme Park Days. Today we are going to talk about Alton Tower's history. But before starting the video, make sure you have subscribed to Theme Park Days. Alton Towers is a former country estate located near the village of Alton in Staffordshire, England. It was a former seat of the Earls of Shrewsbury. It is now a major theme park in the United Kingdom. The area around Alton Towers has been occupied for more than 1,000 years. Beginning in the Middle Ages, the site has been redeveloped several times, from fortified encampment to castle and then country house. An Iron Age fort was built on Bunbury Hill, c. 1st century BC, which is now occupied by the Alton Towers estate. In about 700 AD, the Saxon king Coelred of Mercia built a fortress on the hill. King Inna of Wessex besieged the site in 716 AD. The ensuing battle, which ended in stalemate, caused such a loss of life. The place was called Slane Hollow, which later became the estate's oriental water garden. In the 11th century, Alton Castle was built soon after the Norman conquest above the Churnet Valley, in the village of Alton, Staffordshire. It is about 1 mile (1.6 kilometers) from the present-day Alton Towers. By the 12th century, the large manorial estate had been given to Knight Bertram II de Verdun, died 1129 30th, as a reward for his work in the Crusades. In 1318, the estate passed by marriage to Thomas de Furnivall when he married Joan de Verdun. Furnivall later died crusading in the Holy Land in 1348. In 1406, Sir John Talbot acquired the estate when he married Maud, the eldest daughter of Thomas de Furnivall, 3rd Baron Furnivall. Talbot became the second created Earl of Shrewsbury in 1442, after the title was forfeited by the 3rd Earl of the first creation in 1102. The Norman castle was destroyed during the English Civil War. In the 17th century, the former castle was redeveloped as a hunting lodge known as Alton or Alverton, which is the ancient name for Alton. The three-story structure reused one of the castle's former towers, which remains part of the present-day building. The lodge was split into two properties, one of which was rented by a tenant. The other half was used by the Talbots as a summer residence, their main residence being at Haythrop Park in Oxfordshire. In 1801, Charles Talbot, the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury, decided that Alton Castle was beyond repair, so he decided to have work started on a Gothic-style stately home on his estate on the north side of the Churnet Valley. Over the next 10 years, architects such as Thomas Allison, William Hollands, and Thomas Hopper contributed to the building. Work included the addition of a drawing room, dining room, chapel, library, long gallery, banqueting hall, conservatory, and entrance hall. As a result, the building was doubled in size. It also included the laying of the foundations for the flag tower. The house was renamed Alton Abbey, despite having no particular religious connection. Earlier history: in 1814, Charles and his wife moved permanently into their new house at Alton. Work then began on turning the farmland around the house into one of the largest formal gardens in Britain. Several gardens were planted, including a Dutch garden and a rock garden. More than 13,000 trees were also planted in the landscape parkland. The gardens in the valley leading down to the River Churnet hosted a variety of features. These included a pagoda fountain which was fed by water from a spring at Ramshorn, that passed through various lakes and pools, cast iron garden conservatories designed by Robert Abrahams, a Swiss cottage, that hosted a Welsh harpist and a copy of Lysikrates' Choragic monument from Athens. After the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury died in 1827, he was succeeded by his nephew John Talbot, 16th Earl of Shrewsbury, who completed the gardens and house started by his uncle. In 1831, the Talbots' principal residence in Haythrop burned down. The 16th Earl then came to live at Alton permanently, bringing everything that could be saved from Haythrop. Noted architect Augustus Pugin designed a new entrance hall, banqueting hall and various other rooms, extending the house further. The property was renamed Alton Towers. From 1839, the grounds were opened to the public at various times of the year. In 1852, following the death of the 16th Earl, Alton Towers was briefly inherited by his cousin, Bertram. But when he died 4 years later at the young age of 24, all work on the house ceased. No further alterations would again be made to the property. As there was no direct heir to the estate, Bertram left the earldom and Alton Towers to a younger son of the Duke of Norfolk. But this was contested by Henry Chetwynd Talbot of Ingestry Hall, a distant cousin of the late Earl, who filed a legal writ to determine lawful ownership of Alton Towers. As the contents of the house were not contested, everything within the house was auctioned off in a 29-day sale of 4,000 lots. During World War II, Alton Towers was requisitioned by the War Office as an officer training unit. The gardens remained closed to the public until 1951. It is a common misconception that military occupation of the towers caused a lot of damage to the building. However, this is not the case, as much of the building was already boarded up and unused. It is now commonly understood that the decay was caused in the interwar period by the Bagshaw family, the majority shareholders who sold the wood and plaster fixtures from the house's interiors as well as the lead roofing, allowing water to rot the building's remaining fittings. The house was left a denuded shell. In the 1950s, parts of the grounds were partially reopened to the public by the Alton Towers Limited Company. A 2-foot gauge miniature railway was opened in the grounds, closed 1997. 4 years later, an indoor model railway, which had taken nearly 3 years to build, was opened in the chapel entrance. Up to 500 meters (1,600 feet) of track encompassed a circuit covering more than 74 square meters (800 square feet). The model also used about 100 gallons of water for its river and lake features. Visitors were required to pay a separate admission charge to view the attraction. The railway had 35 locomotives which hauled more than 200 items of rolling stock. During its history, the layout featured various trains representing examples from British Railways, Italian electric trains with pantographs, and Canadian Pacific Railways. Marketing literature often claimed the model layout was the largest of its kind in the world. In 1993, the chapel was restored and the railway was removed and sold at auction. After millionaire property developer John Broome married the daughter of majority shareholder Dennis Bagshaw in 1973, he bought out the controlling stake in Alton Towers. Over the next few years, he laid the foundation for the modern theme park by installing various permanent rides and developing areas of the grounds in progressive stages. In 1978, the newly restored sunken gardens featured in a series of 30-second TV commercials for Accurist starring John Cleese. Theme park, Alton Towers began its evolution into a major theme park in 1980 with the installation of the corkscrew roller coaster, the pirate ship, and the alpine bobsled ride. In 1981, Talbot Street, the park's first permanent themed area, was opened on the site of the old fairground behind the towers, as well as the log flume constructed near to the boating lake. In 1984, the park's second roller coaster, the Black Hole, arrived. Throughout the next decade, more attractions, areas and rides were added to Alton Towers. In 1990, the park was purchased by the Two Swords Group. The change of ownership heralded an era of intense development, with a range of large attractions and new areas being built at the park, including the dark rides The Haunted House 1992 and Toyland Tours 1994, thrill rides such as Nemesis 1994, a hotel complex in 1996, Oblivion 1998, and Air, now known as Galactica 2002. In 2005, Alton Towers was acquired by the investment group Dubai International Capital (DIC) when it purchased Two Swords for £800 million. The Two Swords Group was bought by Merlin Entertainments in March 2007 for over £1 billion from DIC, placing Alton Towers under their control. In July 2007, the resort and park was sold to Nick Leslau and his investment firm Pressbury, who now lease the park back to Merlin Entertainments to operate on a 35-year lease. So this was our today's video. I hope you like it. If you want to watch more videos, like this video and subscribe to Theme Park Days by clicking that subscribe button below. Thanks for watching.